This is the KD50. It's a 5-inch x8 whoop designed to carry cinema cameras like this red Komodo on here, and it has a double pusher configuration, so both sets of props are facing downwards. That allows cleaner exit airflow here, nothing blocking the exit props, and it also allows the design to be much easier to build and maintain. It has this unique feature where the power is split into the middle, and you basically build this in 2 layers, the top plate and the middle plate, and everything plugs together. So this can be taken apart really easily. This could be converted into an X4 without any desoldering of the motors, and you can do a full frame replacement without any soldering. And there are mounting options for the camera at the front and in the middle, battery mounting options on top and on bottom. It's really versatile. It can take the KD camera mount, as you can see here, or the DAC mount. It can also mount naked black magic. You can use this thing in lots of different ways. It's super compact. I'm going to show you some of the features, I'm going to show you some flight footage, and then I'm going to show you how it's all put together. Here it is, the KD50. So what we have is a 5-inch x8 caged whoop capable of lifting cinema cameras, and you can see it's not a conventional x8 whoop, it's actually a double pusher. So both sets of props are facing downwards. And what this does, it allows for better efficiency because the bottom sets of props are having completely clean exit airflow, and it also allows for the build and maintenance to be much easier and much better to put together and to take apart. And things like swapping props, getting inside are way easier than normal other designs. And the way that is achieved is by having this internal power interface. So if you look inside, you can see right there is an internal XT60 connection. So the power is coming from the battery into the XT90 here on the rear, and you can also have it mounted towards the bottom, as you'll show later in the assembly guide. Power then comes through the drone. You can see the black and red power wires there. And then what happens is it splits here internally, where there's an internal XT60. So power goes through to this ESC in the middle plate, and then through the plate here to this ESC on the top plate. And then you've also got control coming through this wire here, that wiring harness that plugs in to this ESC from the flight controller. So the top plate and the middle plate can be unscrewed and unplugged and just pulled apart. So this thing is very easy to build and very easy to maintain, as you'll see later. You've then got mounting for the camera here, and this is the KD camera mount. This is not included in the kit, but you can buy it separately, and it also fits the DAC mount in exactly the same holes. You've got mounting on the front here, and this can also go in the middle here, and that gives you the option to either mount your battery on the top with these included straps and included pad, or you can mount your battery on the bottom here with these slots here where you can put your battery pad and battery straps. So it's very versatile, it gives you lots of options, and if you wanted to, you can also convert this between an X8 and an X4 by simply removing the middle plate, unplugging everything, removing the middle plate, and then just using the top plate and the bottom plate, and then changing over the configuration in Betaflight, and you're ready to go. Now, the other thing it can do is it can mount naked black magic here. So you've got the naked black magic mounting holes if you wanted to do that on the top. It's got XT30 coming to power your camera. It's got SMA holes here on the side and here on the back for your antennas. It's got loads of different mounting options inside. So I've got the OG A unit in there, mounting options for O3, for Vista, for everything you'd want. There's loads of space inside. You've got really easy access to the flight controller. So you can see the USB on this side here. Really easy access, just straight down into there to get that. USB on the A unit or whatever video transmitter you're using. I've got a BEC in here for powering my camera. Really easy access to all of that. And it makes maintenance very simple, and it makes the build very simple, as you'll see later. The whole design is also very stiff, so it has fantastic flight performance. It can really sling things around. It has good efficiency because of that double pusher design that I mentioned. It just makes everything easy to work with. And before I show you how the camera and the battery mount on, I'm going to show you some flight footage.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at camera mounting. We're going to take the Komodo here, but it can really be adaptable to any camera. Blackmagic also works really well on here. Let's take this 1/4-20 screw, put it through the KD camera mount, and I'm just going to tighten that up on there. Now we're going to adjust this to whatever angle we want. So I'm going to tighten that up just with the 2 screws on each side. Then I'm going to use this long battery strap just to properly secure the camera into place. So that can easily be put under the top plate of the mount. Line this all up. And then I'm going to take this power cable, plug that into the camera, and then plug that into the XT30 here on the drone. And that will enable me to power the camera from the drone battery. And that I'm just going to put on the back here. I like having everything on the top, but if you want the better weight distribution, you can put the battery on the bottom and have just the camera on the top. Got these nice easy bits on the side to help you balance it. That looks about right. I have it like this way. Strap that on, and then I've got really easy access to the XT90, just like that. Can plug into there super easily. And there is your very compact 5-inch X8. Easily carry this camera, fit through all those tight gaps, and fly really well while doing it. So now you've seen all the features and how to mount the camera, let's go on to the build guide. So we've got 3 parts here. We've got the middle plate, we've got the top plate, and we've got the bottom plate. So I'm going to start by moving this one aside, and let's focus on the top plate. You've got the front here, you've got the 4 motors, ESC, and then you've got this connection in the middle. So you can see everything's mounted through there. You've got your ESC mounts here with those countersunk screws, and you just mount the ESC like normal, wire up the motors like normal, cable manage it like that, and then I've put the capacitor here, and I've also got a Matex spike absorber on there. I really like those. I've also wired power to my BEC here to provide 12 volts to my camera, and this print is included here. So you can put an XT30 on that, and there's also a double one of those that you can use if you need 2 XT30 12 volts or 8 volts out, or whatever you need. And then this XT60 internal is really important. So basically you're just going to wire that up here, and this is included as well, to this XT60 like this. And then you'll see how that fits in on the middle plate as it plugs into the internal connection. And then I've just put my battery straps here. Those are also included in the kit. And I've mounted my battery pads on here, also included in the kit. So pretty straightforward. And then the SMAs will mount into here or here, depending on where you want them later on. So that is basically the top plate sorted, and we can put that to one side. Now the middle plate is next, still pretty straightforward. And the first thing you want to do is put all of the standoffs in. So you can do it after you put the electronics, but I like to do it first to make sure everything is clear. It's clear which way is up, because there are no countersink holes on the middle plate. It's all symmetrical, so you could put it whichever way up you wanted. So you put the standoffs in like this, and you can see they're staggered. So you're using these button head M3x8 screws here with these standoffs in the middle, and using the top plate, lining it up, you'll be able to see which way the holes go. So you can see, for example, if I line it up like this with both of these on the front, you can see where the standoffs go on the middle plate. So you can use that top plate to line it all up properly, and stagger them properly and put them all in the right position. And then you can see which way. So this is the top and this is the bottom, and you're mounting the motors and the electronics on the bottom. So one thing to bear in mind, I've set this up to be an X8, and I like having my main power coming through to the middle plate. I like having my flight controller and my air unit on the middle plate. If you were setting this up to be an X4, Or to be convertible between X4 and X8, you would want all of this stuff on the top plate. So your flight controller, your main power wires, your XT90 mount, all of that you would want on the top plate, because you're going to be taking the middle plate out when you convert it between X8 and X4, and you're just going to be using the top plate and the bottom plate. But the way I've got it set up is I prefer having everything on the middle plate, because I'm not going to be using this as an X4, I'm only going to be using it as an X8. So, same thing again, we mount the motors, ESC and the flight controller as normal, and then we've got this special connection in here where we've got the mount for the hard-mounted XT90, and also included in the kit is this mount here. So you could mount it like this if you wanted it coming off the bottom instead. So that works really well if you're bottom mounting batteries, or you can have it coming out the back, and both work really well. I like it coming out the back because I usually top mount my batteries. Then we have this internal XT60 connection, and there's a hole in there for that. So you simply put that in, use these two screws, come with the kit, and this internal XT60 also comes with the kit obviously, mounted in there. And then a really easy and convenient way of doing this is to just get the right length of wire, strip a little bit back in the middle so you have the internal wire exposed, solder it onto here, and onto the XT90. And then I just cover this in hot glue to keep it all tidy and keep it from shorting. And I put my capacitor and spike absorber again on here. And then I find it quite important on Cinelifters to put a capacitor on the flight controller battery pads as well. Just cleans up the noise a little bit, and that can be really helpful. They've got loads of space up front to mount your air unit, 03. If you're doing that, you've got 25 by 25 holes here, and you've got 20 by 20 holes here, and also 30 by 30 holes, and also zip tie slots. So you've got loads of mounting options in there. And then this is the wiring harness for the ESC on the top plate over here. So that is going to connect into there, and those are going to connect like that when you join the motor halves up. So that's just coming off the flight controller here. So I've got one connected to ESC below, and then I've got this wire that goes through this slot in here, just designed for that, and connects up to the top plate when you put them all together. I've got my ERS receiver in here, I've got my SMAs coming round. Again, you've got these zip tie slots to sort of tidy everything up. And then if you're using this print here, there are holes to let these SMA wires go through. You could also route them out the side and up through this gap, and then you could use these side holes in there on the top plate. So that's how that's all mounted together. You can see you've got the camera here, because this is the top, camera here, going through with a wire from the air unit, just mounted up like that. And that's how everything goes together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the top plate and join it onto the middle plate. So to do this is relatively straightforward. We're just going to have the XT60 internal connection, and you can hold it like this, matching up with the XT60 internal connection on the mid plate. And we're going to put those together like that and push it in. That's it, that's connected, simple as that. It's actually pretty straightforward to do. And then this one can be a little bit more fiddly, connecting the ESC to the flight controller. So I like to use these needle nose pliers, and I'm going to get in there and try and turn that sideways a little bit and plug it into ESC in the bottom, and just plug that in. And there it is, that's it, that's plugged in. And the two halves are now electrically connected. And so we're going to take a bunch of these M3x8 countersunk screws and just put those in all the holes all around the frame. Okay, now I'm going to take these antenna connectors, put those through there like that. So then we're going to put the bottom plate on, and you can see each hole position has 2 options, and that's because this can either be used with the middle plate like it is here for the X8, or it can be attached to the top plate to make an X4. So that's why you've got those options. And we're just going to do exactly the same thing, line it up here and use these countersunk M3x8 screws. Then lastly, you want to take these little 3D prints with an M3x12 screw, and we're going to put them in these 4 corners as little landing feet so you don't damage your carbon. And now we're just going to put on our antennas. And that's the frame assembly done. So very compact, very practical to build, very easy to maintain and replace. And obviously you notice I put the props on before I assembled any of that, and that's important for the middle layer of props. The bottom layer you can change at any time. And the last thing we're going to do is put on our camera mount. So this is the KD camera mount, available separately, but you've also obviously got the DAC mounting holes. And we're just going to screw that on top. And it's as easy as that. I've locked it in the 0 degrees position because that's where I like it. And you can see it, match it with the FPV camera angle. There it is. So this is a really good compact Cinelifter frame. It can carry a decent payload, get decent flight time, be very agile. It's really stiff. It performs really well. And if you want, you can do so many things with this. There are also things like these handles that I designed. You can get these for free if you want to print them yourself. Just go to the GrabCAD link, or you can buy them from the website as well. And these just clip on the side like this. So you've got these little indents here on the bottom. And those clip in like that. And then on the top, like that. It's a tight fit, but it keeps it strong. There we go. So there's one of them installed, and then that gives you a nice handle hold, just like this. So keep your fingers out of the props, obviously, just like that, to hold it for catch and release, and then to take them off, they just really easily unclip like that. You've got nice camera mounting on here, lots of different options. You can put this camera mount in the middle, obviously. So yeah, it's very versatile. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me on my Instagram, email, through my website, wherever you can get in contact with me. If you check out the website, there are build recommended parts for motors, speed controllers, all that sort of stuff. And on my GrabCAD, there are STLs if you need to reprint any of your own files. And there's also a Betaflight tune on there, which I'll try and keep up to date. That is very much use at your own risk. Don't just plop it on there and fly. You're very likely to damage something or get a flyaway or have it fly really badly. You need to use that as a starter and then create your own tune and do it properly. Contact Brian White with PID Toolbox if you need help, because he is fantastic at these things. And I really look forward to seeing what all of you are going to do with it.